What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show, and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Aaron Hepler. Today, we're going to be talking to a good friend of mine from the South, Justin Synan. Justin actually was born and bred in Maryland, where he cut his teeth hunting turkeys. And if you haven't heard his podcast, Running and Gunning, or watched his YouTube channel, or seen him on Whitetail Addictions, you already know this guy is a slayer in the whitetail woods. So, we aren't talking whitetails today. It's springtime. You'll notice throughout this episode, Justin stays pretty humble about his turkey abilities, but man, he's got some really good advice that I think you can use and apply this turkey season. This is airing a few days before the PA season opener. I really hope it gets you excited to flop some birds this year. And again, thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show. This is In Camp Podcast. That northwest corner of PA is like hundreds of thousands of acres of nothing, like just wilderness timber. And that stuff's cool too. I got to hunt that this fall in rifle season. But PA has like 4 million acres of public land or accessible land to public. So it's amazing how much pressure you run into. Like, doesn't matter where you go, like you'll find somebody was through it at some point in time. Mm-hmm. And that's wild to me because there's so much, but there's like, I don't know. I don't really know the numbers for hunting licenses in PA. It's like 800,000 or something ridiculous, but.
Well, you guys are, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, like per square mile, Pennsylvania is like the number one state for archery hunters, isn't it?
I think so. We always compete
PA
with
and Maryland.
Yeah, and I know we always like compete with Michigan and Wisconsin too.
Yeah. I
think that's for total number of hunters, but our licenses sold
it's
or
like,
whatever.
I think it's like bow hunters per square mile, if I'm not, and this is like probably 5 or 6 years ago. I remember reading that, but
yeah. So I try not to look at that stuff because it gets me. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's just the world we live in now. I think a lot more people are really, in certain areas are really getting after it, which is great.
Hey, yeah, I'm all about it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. 110-inch deer in PA though make me happy still. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I get it, man. It's all relevant. Hey, as long as you're having fun,
Yeah. So we've been like small talking here for a little bit, but I guess I should officially introduce you, everybody, folks at home, folks on the line. This is my good buddy, Justin Synan. He is here wearing his Osseo, and we're just talking it up, chopping it up. We're talking a little deer hunting right now, and hopefully we'll get into some turkey talk. But we're just we haven't seen each other for a while, man.
Yeah, man. No, I miss you, dude. I was hoping to see you at the PA show. I didn't catch up with you.
I know. I
missed the Exodus booth. The Lone Wolf booth grew a little bit this year. We took over.
Oh, did you take your
spot? Yes, sir.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah, we were talking.
I was kind of wondering who was going to be there.
Yeah. It worked out great. The flow of the booth was so much better, man. Oh my god, good. It was like. It was so tight in that booth we had before. It was just.
I was hoping to get out there, but I didn't. I was gonna come out on like Wednesday and Friday, and I ended up getting the flu.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Usually you get the flu after going to that show,
I know.
Not before. Yeah. Now, I mean, that show's chaos. The chaos of the chaos.
Yeah.
As I call it, but.
It's a fun time though. You get to meet a lot of people.
It is. I think that's probably my favorite part about it. It's just getting to reconnect with all, my hunting buddies that I feel like I only see at some of those shows. So
yeah.
But yeah, you were missed, man. We were talking about you guys a good bit. We were like, man, it's a shame. I'm glad to see the Whitetail podcast coming out now, and that's awesome that the content's still going from Exodus.
Yeah.
So.
And
it's awesome.
You're moving to Iowa. We're all excited about that. But it's almost time. Did your season open yet?
No, we open on Saturday. Right now it's Thursday morning. So I'm wearing this because I just went out and did a little bit of scouting this morning.
Perfect.
And I've been keeping eyes on one flock. There's 2 really big times that I've got a vendetta with from last year. It's so funny, man. These 2 birds they must be like brothers or something.
Oh,
they
man,
always hang out together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll have to talk about that because I've experienced that once or twice. But we are talking about turkeys. It is turkey time. This episode is going to come out like 3 days before the PA opens May 3rd. So it'll come out a couple days before that. So I can feel the kind of excitement ramping up. You kind of get vibes from social media now. Like everybody was like real excited for sheds this year and like really early February.
Yeah.
And that died off as soon as the middle of March came, and it was
like
gone.
turkey. It was like a light switch. Everybody like jumped into turkeys way early this year. I feel like.
It's like almost all these influencers have to be like the first person to talk about the next thing. Yeah. But it comes every year, so I don't know. I like to talk turkeys every now and then. I've been really frustrated with turkeys the last couple of years, man. I feel like it's definitely not the same as when we were kids.
Yeah. The numbers or what? Explain.
Yeah, numbers, but like the gobbling.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with PA, but man, in areas where I see turkeys still in some of these areas, they just don't gobble quite as much. And I don't know if it's pressure or predators or, some people have a theory that turkeys aren't gobbling anymore because they know you'll come and find them or whatever, whatever. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But there's still turkeys around. But I know I could go out 10 years ago in pretty much any of my spots and hear anywhere between 5 and 10 different birds. Now it's like you go out and it's like you might hear 2, maybe.
Yeah, that makes it a lot harder, man. I mean, I definitely use their voices to my advantage a lot of times,
Yeah, I think it's the most fun part in turkey hunting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you go out and you sit in a tree stand and you have no problem if you don't see a deer. Because it's like, they just weren't here today, or the weather, or, you can chalk it up to something. But when you don't hear a turkey, you're like, there's no turkeys.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
They're all dead.
Yeah. And they're reclusive little suckers, man. I mean, now, like, are you primarily hunting hardwoods, or are you hunting field birds, or what?
The last couple of years, it's all been hardwoods, yeah. And I would say I'm having better success actually hearing them that way. But I can hunt a little private farm, a little farm that I can deer hunt. Well, a nice size. It's like, overall, it's probably like 400 or 500 acres, mostly ag, that I can hunt turkeys in. It's kind of intermittent there. The one side kind of got too thick. They don't love to roost in there anymore. The other side is it can be decent. Like if whatever food source is in on that side, there'll be a lot of birds. But I did hunt a decent tract of public near me that's almost all like mixed ag.
Okay.
And you could go there, man. There'd be birds roosted in fence rows and in the blocks of timber, and there was a lot of birds there. And the pressure there is very heavy, so maybe that probably has something to do with it. But it's always been heavy, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But
that's interesting, man. I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
I noticed around here our numbers. It's so wild to me because like I'll see tons and tons and tons of turkeys all through fall. Like when I'm deer hunting, right? And now like we're in spring and I'm driving around, and usually right around now in the fields they're loaded. And I bet you I've seen a quarter of the amount of birds that I normally see. So, and I know that they're here. So it's really like puzzling to me, like where are they at? Like I know that I'm watching some here and there, but it's just not the numbers like I should be seeing. So, I would say I'm like, okay turkey hunter. I'm good, but I'm not. I don't want to come on here and act like I'm a turkey expert. I've killed plenty of birds, and I've been doing it for I don't know, probably like 8-9 years. I was never raised turkey hunting. My dad never did. I've been self-taught. I started in Maryland on public land, and I could only archery hunt. So I think that gave me a really big advantage.
Yeah.
Because I could have killed, if I had a gun in my hands, I could have killed a ton of birds. But with the bow, it was like very tight quarters, and like I had many birds just, I couldn't even draw my bow back, at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like self-control and like, all right, I'd call a bird in and then he'd hang up at 35 or 40 yards and I couldn't, thread an arrow through there. But if I could have shot him with a shotgun, so I learned a lot in the beginning phases of turkey hunting, doing that. And then coming out here to Kentucky, it was like game on. Like it's been a blast.
Yeah. Well, and I know those like Kentucky, Tennessee have pretty good populations of turkey, and I think biologists have been doing studies on like seeing if turkeys are getting West Nile or whatever, but I think they just had some poor nesting seasons up here with a couple of really wet springs at the wrong time, because poults don't do really well with that. In my immediate area, we have a lot of coyotes.
Yeah, same. There's a lot of predators around here between bobcats and coyotes.
Yeah. Now, I will say that I have a buddy that's 5 minutes up the road. Everything immediately around me is, well, not immediately around me, but a lot of what's around me is private, and they've been having flocks of 40 turkeys up in that area. So,
and that can be tough, to be honest with you. Like, I'd rather take a flock of like 10 versus a flock of 40. And honestly, I'd rather just take a single tom that's on his own.
Yeah,
they're a lot more susceptible to get killed.
A little 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So you said you've turkey hunting for like 8 or 9 years. I've been turkey. I mean, I'm sure you've killed way more birds than I know. You've killed way more birds than I have. But how many of those years have you bird hunted in Kentucky?
Every year.
Every year since. Yep. So you started in Maryland, but.
Mm-hmm. I started in Maryland. I think I killed the funniest thing, and I'm not trying to bloat. I killed an archery state record for Maryland. It was my first turkey ever. I killed on that public. And
how big was that bird?
It was a giant, man. 1.5 inch and 5/8 spurs, and he was like 25 pounds. Oh, and that was the thing that made him hit the record books. And I didn't shoot this bird and was like, oh, I'm going to put him in the record books. Like, I wanted to get him mounted because he meant so much to me. Because, like I said, my dad never taught me. It was all, like, it took me 3 years to finally kill one, like, on my own. And I learned a lot in that time frame. Like, I roosted that bird the night before, and we called him in. Like, I was with a good friend of mine, and it was just, honestly, to this date, one of the coolest things I've done with a bow in my hand. Like, this bird came in and he strutted. I had a little half strut Jake decoy in front of me, like probably 10 or 20 yards out. Mm-hmm. And this bird came in and hooked like 5 yards in front of me and came full strut. And when he put his fan to me, I just yanked my bow back and shot him at like maybe 7 yards on the ground, no blind. Like it was awesome. Freaking awesome. It was super cool.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Yeah, and then to have him be a giant like that, I was like, I didn't even know what I'd done. I'm like, it's a good tom, but I'm like, aren't they all like that?
Yeah.
And then my taxidermist like, no, dude, you should really think about like, he's like, I'll enter this for you if you want, and I'm like, I mean, do your thing, man. Like I was like, I don't care. And then it was just hilarious. I got a letter in the mail like, congratulations, it's a new archery state record. They gave me a little plaque with a NWTF does all that stuff. So but yeah, it was
that's
cool.
Way cool, man. Do you remember? So it'll be different for you than it was for me for sure, because you probably remember it a lot better than. Do you remember the first turkey that gobbled that you can remember? Like, oh
yeah, it was in there. In that same piece of public, I just worked this one little chunk that a lot of people overlooked, and it was. A majority of it was just this one big piece of standing pine. So it was a big pine forest, and It was all surrounded by oaks. So I've learned over the years that I try to focus on those areas. So for those of you guys listening, if you've got a lot of standing timber and where there's a good chunk of standing pines, like go look for scratches. And that's really how I got started. And I went back in there. I had been wanting to do it because when I would deer hunt, I would always see turkeys in there. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So I went in there in the spring, and man, like that first gobble, I was just like, oh man, like he's going to come in. No, of course he didn't come in. He hung up at, 40 yards, and And I used to be like way too ginger with my calling, like, because everybody talks about overcalling and like,
Yeah.
man, knowing what I know now, if I would have just turned the volume up a little bit and like really got more aggressive with it, he probably would have came in. But
Yeah, I mean, I think since we're talking about it, I think when it comes to calling, there's a really good, you just have to do it and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody talks about like taking a turkey's temperature, and you don't really know what that means until you just go out and overcall or undercall, because you'll know when a turkey hangs up.
I think this is the best way that I've like been told, because so like I said, I had no mentors, I had no friends. I had a couple friends that were really good turkey hunters, but they were so selfish with their time when it came to turkey season. Like, I never was given an invite to come turkey hunt.
Yeah.
In Maryland, where I grew up, we just didn't have many birds, to be honest with you, like at all. There was hardly any when I first grew up.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I learned if you can hear a bird, let's say we're gonna paint a scenario real quick. All right, we're gonna go in the woods and you're gonna listen at first light. And if you've got one bird that just gobbles like every once in a while, like, on the roost, he'll gobble, gobble, gobble. And then you've got another one over here that is just like, oh, 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 like double gobbling, doing stuff like that. I'm going to go for him.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, when they're really fired up like that and they're gobbling, double gobbling and stuff like that, that bird wants to die, in my opinion. Like, he's going to be way more susceptible to calling. And I've also learned that depending on your terrain, a lot of times if you've got a bird in the bottom and you got a bird on the top of the hill, go for the bird on the hill. The reason he's up on top of that hill is because he's trying to let all the ladies know. He wants to get his voice out there, right? And let everybody know that he's up there and he's looking for love. So he's going to be the one that's going to be a little more susceptible to calling too. So just two little scenarios kind of quick to
So if you're, for that bird in the bottom, the bird in the top, if you're going for that bird in the top, because everybody says it's easier to call a turkey uphill, or, I mean, everybody has a mixed feelings on that, like uphill, downhill. I've always had better luck calling them uphill.
I agree with you.
Yeah. But if there's one already up top, do you get up on top with it, or you try to call it down a little? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It depends on the ridge. I mean, if you've got just one big knob and a hill, like, that's kind of challenging. But if you've got a plateau that's a ridge running across, if you can get up there and really like get as close to that bird as you can. If he's gobbling and you know where he is, like, you don't want to get within eyesight of him, obviously, because I mean, they can see really well and they'll bolt off.
Yeah.
But I like to call it like getting in his bubble. Like, when you get into close enough range of that bird and you surprise him and you're like, oh, hey, I'm a hen, come over here. He's going to come, like, especially that one there that's just gobbling consistently by himself, because he's looking for love. I mean, that's really what we're doing. We're reversing nature here. So you got to just try to think outside of the box, like, and put yourself in a scenario like that,
Yeah. I think there's a couple things too that are important in that scenario. Is like, his bubble is probably going to be different, if he knows there's some kind of barrier in between. Like, if there's a big ditch that he's got to cross, or there's like a lot of blow down, like lay down trees or thick brush or something, that might make his bubble smaller, and you got to get through that stuff on the other side of it. But then the other thing that changes his bubble is you should you should try your best, and it's hard to, but you should try your best to know, and see what you think about this, but you should try your best to know where the hens are too. Because if his bubble is 300 yards, because I've had that where a bird is like ready to come in and he's 300 yards away, but there's a hen 100 yards away from him in between you and him. If he sees that hen, it's over. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's that kind of scenario there. If now, is the hen vocal?
It depends. I've seen it where I'm assuming that I had a really hot turkey coming in and he's the whole way across of something, and all of a sudden now I hear him going a different direction, but he's still gobbling the same amount.
Right.
Well, I didn't spook that bird.
No.
There's
he
probably
just,
a hen.
Yeah. So a lot of times, man, if I can hear a hen, I'll try to cut her off and really just emulate whatever calling she's doing. If she's like, mop, 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 I'm going to do mop, 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 mop. And then if she gets excited and she's calling back, I'm going to just keep mimicking her and I'll piss her off. And then I'll bring her to me and then he'll come in tow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times what I've had success with.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a vocal hen, it's more important to pay attention to the hen because he'll come into both of you. If she's fighting with you and he hears all that, he'll come in. But
and what better way to call a turkey in than to have a live hen calling for you? You know?
Yeah. But you have to beat her. You don't have to beat that Tom anymore. You got to beat the hen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't think I'm a very good I'm a good caller, and I can get birds to come in. I've called in turkeys for other people. I've only shot a few birds, right? I killed my first bird when I was 14. And I remember my first gobble, and this is why it's different, is because I think I was like 10. And I remember my dad and I sitting on a logging road in a big piece of timber, and he's running a box call, and we heard a turkey like a mile away. And I'm, but my little like 10-year-old, I'm like, my eyes are like, he's coming, There's no chance that bird was coming.
Yeah.
But everybody gets these different experiences, but it's really cool to see. I know you say like, oh, you're not the world's, but if you can kill a turkey with your bow in 3 years, my dad didn't kill a turkey for like 30 years. And then we doubled up the first time he ever killed a turkey when I was like 14. We shot some big old jakes.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with shooting jakes. I'm all for just people enjoying the spring, man. Yeah. I think it's one of the coolest. Maybe not the coolest. I mean, for me, whitetails take priority over turkeys, but I have grown to love turkey hunting just as much.
You can't hunt whitetails in the spring, so
no, and it's just a great way to get out there and not only scout for whitetails, but to get to enjoy, Mother Nature waking up in the spring, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of out of state turkey hunting?
I don't, and I really want to. I think this year it's become almost like, I don't want to say it too easy, but it's become like a very, like, I'm almost reserved on when I go because I know that I'm going to go lay one out. And I'm like, now I look at turkey hunting like, who do I want to spend my time with? And who do I want to share the moment with? You know what I mean? I look at turkey hunting as like a great way to go spend time with your friends, and I think that's what in my opinion, that's what turkey hunting's about. I know some guys are all about just being by themselves and stuff, but I thoroughly enjoy like looking at your buddy and be like, all right. And the tactical part of it, it's like, all right, we're set up here, but like, oh dude, let's go. We're going to go get on them. And
yeah, I mean, it's essentially it's a mini elk hunt for sure.
It is. You got to be careful. Elk hunters hate when you refer to
I know, but it is. We're Easterners. It is. It's true.
No, it is.
If I ever get a PA elk tag, I'm going to hunt them the same way I hunt turkeys, probably.
It's very similar, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I have to agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look at it that way, dude. It's a great thing to share with your friends, and I'm very fortunate. I've got a few farms here, and the field birds are challenging and not challenging at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's just, it really comes down to your scouting. And I think, for me, primarily growing up and hunting turkeys only in the hardwoods, it really helped set me apart from hunting field birds, because I was like, all right, well, I know where the birds are. Like, I think that's half of the battle. If you want to go be a successful turkey hunter, like, well, don't go hunt where there isn't birds at,
Yeah.
And try to find your scratching, go spend a little bit of time in the woods, just like you scout for whitetails, and see where their sign is. If you can find a turkey track, well, that wasn't laid there at night. That's another huge advantage to us as hunters. Like, that bird was here. It's a certain time. And, and now like I've developed, like, I never even knew this till last year. I had a couple buddies that I had up from Virginia that are really, really good turkey hunters.
Yeah.
And they just, took my education to a whole nother level. They were like, "Oh, that's a Tom crap right there," and I'm like, "Really? How do you?" And they're like, "Yeah, look, and I don't think they were joking. They were dead serious about it. So I was like,
"Oh no, yeah, that's a thing. Like Tom's shit in a J.
Yeah,
yeah, because they walk when they poop.
Right.
They're walking poopers.
Mm-hmm. And they're usually a little bigger than some of the other ones because the birds are bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And the tracks are different too. Like a hen track, all the toes will be like the same length, and Tom will have a longer middle toe. Those are important things to know. But I think the other thing too is like you can go out and find turkey sign, but the density of sign is really important because that really speaks to how often they're there.
Right.
If you have like 3 pieces of crap, well, that's like, well, they were kind of just passing through. Yeah. But if you have where it's a lot, they're probably frequenting that area every day or using it to strut or whatever. And that's something that I'm hoping for this year. I haven't been this excited to turkey hunt for a while.
Sweet.
Because I have been finding like more sign. I'm going to go start listening next week. I know it's a little early. Like usually if you're listening, you want to hear a turkey like 3 or 4 days before wherever you're planning to hunt, because they move pretty, they're kind of nomadic.
They are, yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll start listening just to kind of get an idea of areas they prefer. But then closer to the season as it comes along. What are your thoughts on just listening for birds scouting wise?
For me, generally now I do way more glassing than I do listening.
Okay.
Here at my house, I'll listen. I'll wake up in the morning. I'm very lucky. We got birds around the house, so we don't have a ton of property. I've got probably we own 20 acres and I've got about maybe 100 acres total that I can hunt. So I'll listen here every once in a while and just get a feel for where they are. And I know exactly what tree they're in pretty much, or within a, vicinity. Yeah. Just by listening. But realistically, I do way more glassing because I'm hunting field birds now. Like I've got 2 to 3 farms that I can go hunt. So I'll go in the morning and I'll listen. But, the guys from Virginia really taught me a lot because I used to just go set up where I knew they would be around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, right, from visually seeing them. Mm-hmm. And they taught me to just go there, park like at dark, and just hang out and listen. And then that's where they really are the ones that taught me that, like, trying to feel a bird's temperature out and like, all right, this one's gobbling. He's gobbling like every minute, and this one over here, like, and what's his location? Is this one on a ridge? What's in between us? Like, which bird's going to be more advantageous to go after? And that's kind of how they changed my mindset on, just trying to feel out a turkey and see which one is ready to ride home with you,
Yeah. And it can be hard because, like, if you pick between 2 turkeys, you pick the wrong one. I've had turkeys that are, like I told you, the one area I used to be able to hunt where is pretty pressured, and I've had turkeys where the thing is cutting you off, and you're like, oh yeah, and you get a little bit closer, and that turkey gets down into a bottom, and there's no calling him out of it. And
how much are you calling to him?
Well, that's what I'm saying is back at that point in time, maybe I overcalled to start with, and then you back off to try to not, and then maybe you stop calling for a half an hour or something.
A good rule of thumb, this is a really good piece of information here.
Yeah.
A good rule of thumb to really get his attention is if he cuts you off, all right, like he knows you're there and he's interested in you. When they cut you off, like that's a really good sign. Mm-hmm. I will let that bird gobble 3 times and then I'll call back to him. And if he cuts me off again, I'll let him gobble 5 times and then I'll call to him.
Yeah.
That's a really good rule of thumb to just keep in your pocket.
Kind of playing hard
to
get.
Yeah, you are. It's exactly what you're doing. And then when he flies down, he's going to be like, all right. And it's also scenario based. I mean, if you've got a bunch of hens that are also calling, that's not, obviously he's probably going to try to go towards them naturally anyway, because that's what he's doing. He's flying down and meeting up with that flock of hens that he's been doing long before season opened up, right? Mm-hmm. But the difference is, like, if you get his attention and he's calling for you and you're close enough to him, he's gonna come to you. And that's a really good way to, kind of handle maybe a call shy bird, without calling too much to him.
Yeah.
And I think the older birds those are the ones that you really got to like play that way. A 2-year-old a lot of times is way more aggressive, but those like 3 or 4-year-old times, man, like those are the ones you want to be real conservative on your calling, especially on public, because they've had God knows how many calls thrown at them. And
yeah, that's really good advice. So we're going to go through a couple scenarios, because these are kind of the most common things, especially that people that are learning to turkey hunt are going through. Roosting tactics. So if you're hunting let's say you're hunting a turkey right off the roost, how are you going about that?
I'll try to figure out where he's going to. Like, that's one good advantage of us having fields, because generally they want to go to the fields.
Are they flying straight out into those fields?
A lot of times I've noticed, sometimes they will, but I've noticed a lot of times around here, it's they like to pitch down. Like, let's say you've got like a ridge right in the woods, and then it butts up to a field. They like to fly down in the hardwoods and then go into the fields. Like, I've learned that over the years here in Kentucky, at least. I like to get right on the edge of where I can pretty much, if I know what tree he's in, or I know, is that the case? Like, do we know where he is, or we just heard him and we're close to him? I'm asking. I'm just for the scenario.
Let's just say you kind of assume you know where he's at.
Okay, in a vicinity.
Yeah.
I'll get as close as I can to that early. Like, I mean, I'll get within. I want to be sub 100 yards. I don't want to be any farther any farther than that. And then if I have an idea what trail he's going to come through, let's say it's like a thick area. A lot of our edges around here are really tight and thick, and I can almost dictate like that he's going to come through this trail or that trail. I'll try to anticipate it, just like a whitetail, and I'll cut him off and shoot him like that right there. But if I'm being honest, I really haven't shot that many birds right off the roost. I've had opportunities that were blown that I could have done that in. So I mean, it is what it is. Especially for other friends, like I've set my buddies up, because generally I'm tagged out, and then I'll take my friends for birds that I've noticed all year that are, like all spring. I'm like, all right, this bird's in this back corner. Like, let's go set up on him. And then like they either can't see the bird or like couldn't pull it off the shot. It's very frustrating as a cameraman sometimes. To watch.
The 100 yards thing is hard.
Why?
Well, that's what I want to talk about. I think it's hard because when you read about turkeys and their habits and how spooky they are, I think you get this mindset like, if you crack one stick outside 100 yards, that turkey's not coming.
I don't believe that.
I don't either. No. But I think that gets into your head.
Yeah.
Because people
think about predators for a second. Think about deer.
Right.
Well, I mean, you got deer that walk around and make noise. We're all, I would say a majority of us listening are whitetail hunters. I mean, you hear deer break sticks. I mean, as long as you're not in there being outrageous with your noise. Yeah. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it really does depend on the foliage. That's a whole nother topic. So if there's foliage on the trees, and let's say this is like the latter part of the season, I'll get way closer to that bird because of the foliage. Like I'll get within 50 yards of him if I can.
Oh, wow. And the other thing to say is like, how many turkeys have you heard fly off the roost because you were 100 yards from them and made some noise? Most of the time, if you kick them off the roost, you're underneath them. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times you are. I've done that a few times, just walking into sets and walked right underneath a bird one time, man, and I heard him poop, and then I looked up and he just took off, and I was like, oh my God. It was a big time too. I could see his beard like from the silhouette of the sky, but it's just like whitetail hunting, man. Like, you got to try. Like, I think it's almost better. Like, let's say you got a couple days consecutive, right? And that bird's in this area and he was roosted there the day before. That's when I'll be way more aggressive and try to get right tight to him. And I like that, 50-yard mark, because a lot of times in the hardwoods, I feel like when they fly down, they basically just jump out of the tree and like fly down right there near the tree.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they don't cruise very far all the time.
No, not often. So if you're within 50 yards, by the time he hits the ground, you could damn near kill him,
So if you're 50 yards from a turkey, are you taking the time to set out decoys?
No.
Yeah.
No. I use decoys for field birds because like it's almost, and that was, in my head when I had these guys from Virginia, I wanted them to teach me. I wanted us to kill turkeys without decoys. I'm like, hey, look, I know how to kill birds with decoys, and I don't have an issue doing that. Well, they learned real quick. They were like, well, we need to bust these decoys out, man, because like these birds are just, they're not coming in. Like when they get out to the fields, they need to see a visual. Like they're not coming to that edge of the woods unless like, there's a reason.
Because it doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
So, that's one thing for field birds. But if I'm hunting hardwoods, I don't like to use a decoy. I mean, I'm not against it. If that's what you want to do and you have confidence in it, like go for it. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But you kind of need to have a game plan. Like, is that turkey, is he the boss Tom? Is it a 2-year-old? If you take a strutter out and you're trying to kill a 2-year-old turkey, well, if he sees that strutter, he's probably going to go the other direction.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true, because especially in tight cover, if he can see it from a long ways off, it's a little bit better, like kind of ease him into it or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with field birds. But if you don't have if you're not hunting in an area that they can't have visual, decoys are probably hurting you more than helping you.
Maybe a single hen or something like that, that's not going to hurt you in any scenario.
Yeah.
But when you get into putting like full strut birds or, I don't know. I think I've kind of grown to like the half strut jakes. I feel like they're kind of a good, like kind of neutral. You won't really like shy away turkeys, with those things. But I've noticed a strutter, if it's not the boss tom, like that boss tom's going to come in there and beat the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
But if you're not hunting that bird, you can kiss that 2-year-old goodbye, because he's not really going to try to beat up somebody that's been and you got to think about this. I don't know if you guys realize or not, but like turkeys establish a pecking order and a dominance factor, and the boss tom's the one that does a majority of the breeding. So he's the one that's going out. He roosts on his own, and then he'll go meet up with all the hens, that he can, and he'll breed all those hens. And then once 9 or 10 o'clock hits and he's done all of his breeding, then he's going to be on his own, and he'll be a lot more susceptible to calling. So for me, I almost favor that time frame versus going and trying to kill one on the roost. Like if I go in to kill one on the roost, it's because I know right where he is. I know what he's been doing in the past. It's like that. I usually won't go right out of the gate and try to kill a roosted bird unless like I watched one fly in that evening or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Tactics. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And the nice thing is you can sleep in.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times, man, like that turkey at 9 or 10 o'clock, he's ready to die. Like, I mean, he's done all his breeding. He's looking for a leftover hen, and you're over there yapping, and he's like, all right, where you at? I'm ready to do, do the D before the day's over. So I've learned a lot more birds get killed in that time frame, and you just got to be a little patient. There's always between 8 and 9 o'clock they go silent, and then after 9 it's like a light switch, and they just become a lot more vocal.
I killed my best turkey that way, and this could have actually hurt me, but I was hunting him while he was on the roost.
Okay.
Like I got pretty close, and he ended up flying out and flew almost a quarter mile.
Oh man.
Like I watched him fly out of the roost, but there was all these guys hunting him, right? There's a small block of timber, and it's like a rectangle. There were 3 guys up and down this side. There were 3 guys up and down this side. And I came in, I was there first in the morning. I went in at like I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was walking in. So I was 2 hours before light because I knew there was going to be other guys. And I went all the way down around this bottom of this block of timber because I had heard this bird a couple days before, and he was the only tom in there. There was a couple hens with him. So I see 4 hens fly out of the roost, and then he just like cruises way out because he was just gobbling at everything that was yapping at him that morning, like me, the other guys. And I was trying to stay quiet because a lot of people were calling. I just did a couple clucks, and that bird like went way out. But I ended up just staying there until later in the morning at like 8:30. I killed him at 8:30, and he ended up coming around the end of this fence row. And he was the cool thing about decoys is I got to watch him thwop the shit out of my Jake.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. But yeah, it is the better time to kill them. But what do you think? Do you think that hunting a bird like that on the roost? I got lucky that day because I knew that turkey was going to come back into that area, and that's why I stayed. Well, I had assumed he would because he did a couple days beforehand. But do you think hunting them on the roost and then trying to hunt that same turkey around 10 o'clock is probably could hurt you?
It all depends on what they're doing, man. It really, I hate to say it that way, but like it is scenario based.
Yeah.
Were you hunting a ridge or a bottom or what was it?
No, it was just a little kind of, it was really just, it was just this rectangle piece. The top of it touched a parking lot, and there were fence rows like all off of it.
Okay.
Like if you think on the left side, there's like 5 fence rows. On the bottom, there was one perpendicular fence row. On the other side, there's 5 fence rows. So basically, it's just a rectangle surrounded by pheasant fields.
Okay. So what was he doing? How did you kind of get to that point where you were like, I'm going to sit here and wait for him to come back? You saw him come through there at 8 or 9 before?
I was hunting a farm that was basically a mile away from that, right?
Okay.
Up a hill, the other direction. And I heard my brother and I were hunting together, and I thought I heard birds down there. So I'm like, well, we're going to drive we had to drive 5 miles we drove around 5 miles, parked in the parking lot, went down the edge of this thing and just called, and there were 2 toms in that block of timber. And where we had heard them, they were down where I was set up they're like this, basically, like if you think of it, like people can't see this, but the bottom of this thing, and then I'm sitting a fence row that's like teed to the bottom of this thing, and there's 2 fields on either side. And this fence row basically split this block of timber. So I knew that bird was probably roosted in there because it was one of the better roosting areas.
Yeah.
And there were a couple other birds in timber that were behind that, but he seemed to be the one that was in there the most. So I knew he would either fly down. There's like a swampy area in there, and they like to strut in that open swamp.
Yeah.
So he would either fly down into that thing and come up out, and I would kill him in the field right away, or he would just fly down into my decoy. Well, when he flew out, he went all the way across to the other block of timber that was, like a quarter mile from me. And I could hear all these birds going back and forth, but basically how those fields wrap, it's just kind of like a sea along a creek. Like the creek basically funneled them back into this other field that was below me. And it was like a...
So they'd naturally just feed in.
They would naturally feed back into that roosting area.
Yeah.
And I heard... You could kind of hear everybody kind of get bored, and I saw guys walking back out and stuff.
A lot of people leave way too early, man.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, the turkeys know these guys are leaving at this time because obviously these guys knew that turkey was there. There were 6 people calling to this turkey.
Right.
So I'm like, well, we'll see what happens. And I could hear hens every now and then, which I knew was good. Like there's still some activity going on. And I heard like I was basically sitting like in the fence row and had like maybe 15 or 20 yards of fence row to me to the woods. And I could hear like some noise on the other side of the fence row. And then I heard wings flapping, and I'm like, that's gotta be like crows or something.
He hopped the fence.
No, I heard a hen just like yep 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 real
Oh,
fast like that.
yeah, fly down cackle.
Yeah, well, she was already down.
Okay.
He was mounting her, I think,
Oh, okay. I
and
got you.
that's why I could hear because I could hear him boom, drumming.
Mm-hmm.
So I imitated her. He gobbled so loud, dude. I think he was 3 yards from me on that other side of that fence row, but it's so thick you couldn't see through it.
Right. He was.
But then he came running around the end of the fence row because it's broken between the woods. He came running around the end of the fence row, went into full strut, and started whacking my decoy.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of just like leaned out and.
Yeah.
But that was my first my first long beard. I've only killed 2 turkeys with. I killed a couple jakes, two or three jakes, but that was my first long beard. And man, I worked. That was like Memorial Day, so it was hot.
Yeah.
You know.
That's another factor, man. The weather.
Yeah.
I've learned, for me, like I think that was super beneficial last year having my buddies from Virginia. They taught me a lot about just reading nature, man. Like you know what like whippoorwills are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go out in the morning and you hear whippoorwills and it's a high pressure day, you can bet your ass the turkeys are going to be going nuts. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what the reasoning is, but it's very true. Like if you go out and you listen to the spring in the morning and you've got whippoorwills, crows, even the cows calling. I noticed the days that like it was just kind of silent. There wasn't much calling going on at all, like hardly any gobbling. But you got all those factors that are coming into play. It's like you can tell it's going to be a good day, and the temperature, like if it's really hot, they're going to want to be in the bottoms. If it's a cool day, they're going to want to, get out in the sun and strut. So, just little things like that can really, you can add to your Rolodex of, where am I going to set up today? What's my plan? That makes a difference.
Do you have a favorite shot call?
No, I don't. I don't shot call at all, honestly. I'm more or less, I don't like to call, and that was one thing I wanted to say on here. Don't ever call to a turkey unless you're in a good area where you can kill him.
Mm-hmm.
I've been caught with my pants down a couple times just calling randomly, and I had a bird fire off that was stupid close to me, and I ruined it. So I've learned over time, like, you make sure you get to an area, like if you're on the downside of a rise or something like that, like don't just pop up over that rise, like lightly call first and then get a little bit more aggressive. Like that's another good thing to kind of put in your toolbox, if you want to call it. Starting off light and then getting more aggressive. Those are 2 big things that kind of play in my success, but I need to do some more of that. I honestly, I try to do some outcalling, and I don't need a call to do that. I just use, my voice.
Yeah, same.
So
I don't really have a lot of luck with shock calls. It has to be, like you said, it has to be a really high pressure morning. And if you're in an area that's got a ton of crows and they're just calling all day long, a turkey doesn't answer to it.
Yeah.
And I really don't have any luck with owl hooting. Right. But you know what I do have luck with from time to time? I was telling somebody this last night. I used to use a duck commander wood duck call.
Okay.
But I would blow on it like a woodpecker because it sounds just like a pileated woodpecker.
Just all you need is a loud noise. I mean, hell, you could slam your truck door and they'll gobble at it. I mean,
yeah. Well, it depends the area, but yes,
yeah.
They do that. You do that here, you won't hear a turkey all day.
I got you. I use a box call a lot for shot gobbling, honestly, but it's not that often. I mean,
yeah. So how are you doing like a run and gun setup then? Are you just assuming that they're like you're looking at the areas that they're gonna? What if it's an area that you haven't really been to?
I'll just work my way through, and like I said, I'll just lightly call and then get a little bit more aggressive. Listen. Walk slowly. Do not be in a hurry. You're out there to turkey hunt. You need to look at things a little bit differently. Like, I'm not saying you need to be like, watch every step and don't break a twig, but like try to be as quiet as possible with your walking. They can hear really well. They can see really well. I try to just slowly, I'll go and let's say I'm going to park here and I know there's a series of ridges. I like to focus on ridges, honestly, if I can. I don't know what I would do if I was just hunting flat ground. I guess I would do the same thing, but maybe just go really slowly and just call a little bit here and there. I try to get in the area, sit, and kind of like give it about a half hour. Just sit there, call a little lightly, and listen, man. Honestly, just relaxing and listening will do you more good than anything. Because if you can hear one gobble, you know where one's at, right? And then make your way towards that, and then lightly call and see if you can get them fired up, and then just work it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good plan. A lot of people here have a hard time with the run and gun thing because if you don't find a turkey right away, we're kind of limited for the first half of the season, right? You can only hunt till noon.
And that's the thing. And I think a lot of turkey hunters don't hunt that like 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And that 10 to 12 can be a magical little couple of hours.
It is by far the most responsive you'll have turkey. I called a turkey for a buddy, and it wasn't a big beard. It was like a 10-inch beard and 1-inch spurs. But the turkey weighed 28 pounds, right? Wow. And yeah, I called that turkey from probably 400 yards away at 10:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. See, because he was ready. He had already done bred all of his hens, and he was looking for love.
Yeah. So what I did is we used that. You use a lot of tricks in turkey, like everybody, and we'll talk about this too. Everybody has like some kind of trick, but I did that like I got him to gobble once. I backed up like 50 to 80 yards. Mm-hmm. Called again, got him to gobble, and then I went 100 yards closer to him.
Yep.
Like I basically, we were at the same level, and I raced up a ridge to get closer to him and get to the higher ground because I figured that would probably get him to want to come up.
No, it's a great tactic.
Dude, he was there in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And my buddy shot him at like 20 yards. But he came in without, he was running in.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You got to be careful, man. Sometimes that's what they do. And that's why I say really make sure that you're set up and you're able to kill before you call, because that son of a bitch, if you're within 100 yards of him and you don't see him, he will come running at you, and you can get caught with your pants down. It's not fun.
Yeah, you got to make sure there's something near you that you can just write down if there's something going nuts,
Yeah. No, I love that. And I've tried to do that. It hadn't worked for me, but I know that it could work. It's just how it is, man. Like every turkey's a little different, just like deer are different. It all depends on that day for that bird, and how he's feeling and what he's been up to that day. So,
have you used a lot of the run and gun tricks like that?
I have, especially last year. I was hunting with. Have you heard of Matt Dale? From like Dale's Outdoors. He has a really big YouTube following. Okay. He's a really he taught me a lot about turkey hunting because I had to learn from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So I bumped into him at Nashville at the NWTF convention, and I had him out to hunt with me last year, and I learned a lot from him too. And we did that with some birds, but we were hunting the third week of season, and it was just like this right around the May frame, and here in Kentucky, man, it was a very challenging time for calling turkeys in.
Yeah, May's hard.
He even said, he's like, I absolutely hate this time of the year. Like, it was like the 26th to May is when we hunted.
Okay.
And he was like, I hate this time frame. And we called in. That was the one bird that I had that was roosted, and he was a giant, and we should have killed him, but I was just a little bit higher in the rise than Matt was. I could have smoked him from where I was, but it's a challenging time, and he did that same thing. We were working this bird that was just a little bit on a hillside in some briars and a little bit of thicker stuff, and we had him fired up, man. And we would go back. I was just letting him there, and I ran towards the bird and called to him, got him. He's just gobbling. I'd come back and I'd call a little bit, and he just didn't come to us. And, every once in a while you're going to have that. You might be doing everything right, and that bird's just a dickhead, Yeah.
And then the elk hunters don't want you to say that turkey hunting so similar, but they call exactly the same way.
Yeah, it's 100. I mean, yeah, they really don't. My guide out west was like, we even sent him a little meme of Trump and Zelensky, and he was like, they're like, turkey hunting is a lot like elk hunting, and he's like,
yeah, it's just like it.
Yeah.
So your turkey season opens this Saturday. Are you hunting one right off the roost?
No, my strategy is going to be, these birds have been flying down. I could go set up on the roost, but I don't know exactly what tree they're roosted on. And they like to come out in the middle of this field where I will not have a shot. In the past years, I was setting up a ground blind and I would bow hunt them. And if I'm going to be honest with you, it literally became like almost too easy, and I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
I love shooting them with a bow. It's cool. I killed a couple with that decap broadhead. And I just kind of have more respect for them now. Call me an old man. But it's just it's kind of a gruesome way to kill a bird. And I don't know. I have more respect for them. I do believe turkeys were meant to be shot in the face. That's just my opinion. And I think a lot of other turkey hunters will agree, but I'm actually going to cut these birds off. I've noticed them going to, they basically are up on a ridge, and then the field is like kind of the flat, like the hilltop.
Yeah.
And they wrap around the field to go to this more secluded area. So I'm kind of going to pinpoint them where I've noticed that they go down. It's almost like turkeys really like to be in a rise where you can't see them, if you've noticed over years. So that's where I'm going to set up, is just on the downside of a rise. And I may not even use a decoy. I'm really 50-50 on what I want to do, because he's got like 8 or 9 hens and there's 2 toms. So I'm going with a buddy. I'm hoping we can double up, and I might even just hunt them like a damn whitetail, man. Like, just, because my scouting is telling me, like, if I set up in this area, like, they should come through there. And if they don't, then we'll just be mobile, and I can, go from that area and go down through these bottoms and figure something out.
Well, and that's one of the greatest things about hunting with a shotgun for a turkey is, correct me if I haven't hunted a turkey with a bow. But I feel like everybody who talks about it, you can really be a lot more mobile with a gun than with a bow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a lot more difficult. Like I said, I started off, no blind, just run and gun with a bow. And the hardest part about it is getting drawn. It's not so much shooting a bird with your bow. It's the fact of getting your bow drawn on that turkey, because they just wheel out, man. I've had so many birds fly off from me drawing. It's heartbreaking, but yeah. So the blind really, like, it made it better for filming too, because I try to film all my turkey hunts, and yeah, it just, I don't know, man. It's a lot of extra effort. It's a lot of, in these fields right now, they're not planted. Like, in the next couple weeks, they'll be planting. So if I leave the blind out, then I got to go run out to the farm and take it out of there when they're planting, and just a lot of extra stuff. And I thoroughly enjoy the run and gun style with a gun. It's just, I don't know.
It's a lot. I think it's a lot more fun. You get to see a lot more woods. You get to add to your scouting. I don't know. There's just a lot of advantages to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think I'm trying a new spot this year. Like I said, I think there's I'm gonna buy a second PA tag. Why not?
Sweet.
See how it goes. But
do you have to do that before it opens, or what?
You have to buy it before it opens. Yeah.
Yeah, man, do it. Get you.
I think that's how they get people, because they know they're not going to shoot a second one. Either way, it supports a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Are you into some birds or what? What do you think?
I found a flock last week when I was shed hunting. Like you said, I came up over a rise and there was a whole bunch on a flat.
Yeah. They'll probably be there, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned too. Like, just because you spook turkeys does not mean they're not going to come back there.
No, they'll be back. And I didn't spook them that hard. They kind of just walked off.
Yeah.
The farm that I can hunt, I've been seeing, a couple weeks ago I saw a pretty good flock. The flock there usually there'll be like 2 or 3 turkeys in a block, and then they'll all kind of group up around 10 o'clock. So that's where it gets a little tough there. You almost have to shoot them off the roost on the farm, or you have birds that don't want to come because they're all grouped up
together. I mean, I think for my success over the years, the biggest factor has been having multiple places to hunt, because it doesn't work out every morning like you expect it to. So you have to have the ability to pivot, and if it's not working out here, go to another place and really spend. It's such a shame that they don't give you guys afternoons to hunt.
They do, but it doesn't happen until like May 16th or something.
Maryland's
like
the same way.
Yeah. So the way PA hunting, it's hard too, because I feel like they're almost done gobbling by the time they say that it's not true, that this is their best time to gobble. But I hear turkeys in March the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like right about now, like the beginning part of April is phenomenal, and I think they lay the season out so they get to do a lot of their breeding before they get shot.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I think it's beneficial. So the way PA season works is it opens whatever Saturday falls closest to the first day in May is the day that it opens. So some years, it'll open on like the 26th or 25th of April. And usually those are a little bit easier to kill turkeys because they're still gobbling pretty good. May can be hard because, I feel like most of the time they're done in like, the first week is okay, and then after that it gets pretty tough. And I don't even think it's from the pressure. I really think it's
their volume. Really, they're just turning down.
Yeah, you get really hot days, and they don't.
That's where your scouting is really going to come into play. Like
exactly.
If you've got a place where you can watch turkeys, you got to almost hunt them like a whitetail, right? Like, okay, I watched them go from this area to this area. Like, go cut them off.
Yeah, exactly.
And less calling around that time. Like, don't be same with hunting birds in the afternoon. Like, you tone down your calling to about half of what you would normally do.
Yeah. We'll see. This year I'm going to hunt a piece of public that I've been shed hunting a little bit this year. It's not far. It's a little further from my house than the stuff I normally hunt. But it's a lot bigger. You can go for miles and miles. So it's like you said, you got to have multiple spots. This has multiple ridges that I can switch from ridge to ridge, and
nice.
I'm going to shotgun hunt too, so I'll probably have a bike and ride a bike around and this kind of thing. But
yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to this year. I got the e-bike now, so
yeah, we can ride e-bikes, but only on state forest land in PA. They're not legal on state game lands.
Okay.
People ride them anyway. This is something like, I don't have anything against e-bikes other than people take advantage and use them illegally.
Yeah.
That's the part that drives me nuts here.
Like illegally, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, guys are like riding game lands with them all the time. And
I mean, it's the same thing. I know where I grew up, you couldn't do any of that stuff. And there was always people riding dirt bikes around on these, in a reservoir that doesn't allow any motorized vehicles at all. So
yeah, it takes the fun out of it for me, man. If I was going to do something illegal, if I did something illegal to kill a deer or a turkey or whatever it happened to be, it doesn't hold the same weight to me. Like, I always look at that thing and be like, I cheated.
Yeah.
Even if it's something like, well, is e-bike really cheating to kill a deer? Like, yeah, kind of. Like, if it's legal, it's not. You did it the right way.
Right.
But if it's something that you did that,
if you know it's illegal and you did it and then you were successful, there's still that factor of like, well, I had an advantage that not everybody else had.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that.
By choice, not by necessity.
So I'm a pretty stringent rule follower.
No,
because
that's good, man. That's how I mean, and you being a host of a podcast, that's how it's supposed to be. So
yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah. So I want to hear. We already did kind of hear your memorable moment because you killed a state record turkey. So that's pretty. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But do you have any other hunts in the turkey woods that really stand out to you?
Yeah. So I went out my first time. I took my wife out. This was like 2 years ago. Did a bunch of scouting, was watching these birds, kind of hang out in this one back corner of a field. Went in there the day before season, popped a blind up, put some decoys out. And as luck would have it, man, like these two toms just flew down into the field. They took like an hour and a half. They were just milling around in the field, gobbling their heads off. And it took them forever to come to us. I mean, I honestly was kind of thinking they weren't going to come in. And they finally saw, I had a full strut decoy out there, and they were like, once they saw that, it was like night and day. Like they were like, all right. So I got her with the shotgun, and I had the bow with the. This is my first time using the decap head, and these birds just come in, man. I mean, they gobbled like right behind us, like within 5 yards of the blind, and it scared the hell out of her. Like, it was hilarious, and I was like, "Get ready!" And she's like, I had the GoPro rolling, so I didn't, going back and looking at all this footage, it was awesome. The hunt's on my on the YouTube channel we have, but it was just awesome. So the birds come in, I'm like, all right, I'm like, are you ready? And I just came to full draw, and like I had this one bird, he just poked his head like all the way out and was just kind of like just stayed there for a second, and dude, his head went like flying, like somersault, like totally took his head off, and like the other bird immediately comes in and just storms him. That's one other good thing with like bow hunting. Like if you want to go out with a blind with one of your buddies and like you have a bunch of field birds that are kind of in the middle of the field and difficult to get to, it's a pretty sure way of getting a double, because when you shoot that one with the bow, it's almost for certain that other bird's going to come in there and flog him. Yeah. So then she followed up and she shot the other one. They were both like giant toms, both of them.
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
1.25 inches. Her bird had a double beard. And it was her first turkey ever. It was really our first turkey hunt ever together. And for me, that was probably one of my most memorable hunts. That was absolutely blast.
No, I love that, man. Yeah. So cool. Well, dude, it was good having you. We're going to have you on to talk deer at some point too, probably early fall or something like that. But yeah, man, I always love catching up with you. This podcast I'm kind of starting because I do like the social aspect of it. I like I called it in camp because even if you're deer hunting and you're solo, like you're coming home, you're calling your buddies, letting them know what you saw for the day or whatever it is. But I like that. I guess the brotherhood style kind of thing, not like a gang, but man, I just love that part of getting to share it with people that are your buddies. And I think the cool thing is that we're connected because we met at the outdoor show. Yeah. Because of hunting and fishing and the things we love to do. And it's so easy. I mean, I bet you half your friends are people you met because they hunt and fish.
I've got more friends that live in different states than I do anywhere, man. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. I got, and it's just quality people, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to find somebody that shares the same passion that we do for doing this stuff. So, yeah.
And I mean, like we've had a lot of, longer conversations here before, but I feel like I got to talk to you for another hour and a half. We've already been on the horn for 2 hours,
man. I know, it's kind of crazy.
So it's such a cool thing to get to really experience this. And I think the popularity of hunting and fishing is, really growing. And I think that's even though when you're like, kind of selfishly, you're like, you can stay out of the woods. But at the same time, I want it. I want people there. So absolutely. So cool, man. Really glad to have you on. Can you tell people where they can find all your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we also have a podcast, the Running and Gunning podcast.
It's a good one.
We've got our YouTube channel as well. And then you can find me on social media at just Justin _Synan. And, cool. Yeah, man, Aaron, it's been a blast, man. I really appreciate you having me on here. I don't get to talk about turkeys much, so I really enjoyed this, man. It got me fired up.
Yeah, me too, man. I wanted to kind of go over some of those basics, but maybe we can talk a little bit about some stuff off the air here too. But
right on.
All right, dude. It's good having you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
You too. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Be sure to check out Justin's YouTube channel and podcast where you can find some real quality content. And make sure you give him some good ratings over there. This PA turkey season is just a few days away, so I hope you enjoy your season and find some success. Head over and check us out at Instagram at our page at incamp_podcast. Tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen every week. Drop us a comment, leave a review, and a rating. I'd really appreciate it, everyone. Thanks again. This is In Camp Podcast.